All right.
It works.
It works. I will.
You wanted to start selling on Amazon, and he said it looks so
Go ahead,
easy.
my dad.
He said it looks so easy. Come on, sit try. It's my son, too. I don't know why. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I want to sell on Amazon. They said it looks so easy.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
When's your birthday? Today.
Really sorry about starting so late, but I had some technical difficulties. Let's see. Okay. No. Let me, sorry, we had technical difficulties. Let me get the mic so we can actually start. It's good, thank you. So you are liking that book, right? Yeah. I'll put this here. You're welcome.
He looks like the seat, huh?
Being around, how are you doing, sir? Nice to see where the smarts come from. I'm his best friend.
Connor, you want to come up here and present with me, Connor? Hop up front. All right, so I think that's the latest we've ever started. Two pretty bad ones this week. One, this is the latest we've ever started an event, so I'm sorry. And the other one is, this is the latest we ever announced a meetup, which I think I announced it yesterday, which usually has an impact on turnout, but I appreciate you guys coming out. What was I gonna say? Today's an open topic because I announced it so late, so I don't have this massive plan thing. The idea here is that we're just gonna, I think the beginner hour is gonna blend right into the topic of the week whenever we have an open topic. Since the beginner hour is very like ask me anything type of stuff, or we pick on Tom for first 30 minutes usually, but since we missed those 30 minutes, we could do it now. Yeah. Since we have a fans here, they can help us. So many stories we want to know about them that we don't know yet, so. Happy 60th. Happy 60th. Doesn't look a day over 59. What were we talking about? Oh, social media. We were just talking about it loosely while I was struggling with the tech. Who's watching? You're watching the stream. If any questions come on the stream, let me know. If there's any issues with the audio, let me know. Those cubes, or if anyone has any questions, we'll throw them around and ask them. I feel off since we started so late. The sponsors, which you see here at the bottom, coming on the screen in this little like NASCAR ticker looking thing. Couldn't pull this off without them. So if you see them or you're looking for a vendor to work with in one of those areas, definitely check them out. I was going to announce today, some of you received the email, a lot of you probably have not, because we only sent it to a few people, but bringing it up here, I was going to try to convince that I was not selling you anything. In this case, it's going to be easy because it's sold out. There is nothing to sell. But I created this brand accelerator that I think is going to play a pretty big role in a lot of the stuff we do in Wizards of Ecom moving forward. This is the first one. Don't worry, there'll be other ones. But because this one is the first one, it's going to take a lot more of my time in putting it into the classes. So there was always this hesitation that I put it out there and no one would be interested, and it flew. So those of you that did sign up, I appreciate it. And if you didn't, you can get the next one. But I'm really excited about that. I was gonna come here and say we have 2 seats left, and that always feels like cringy when I hear it and I'm somewhere. It sounds like fake scarcity, right? But it was real, and I was like, my wife's telling me, just say it, it's true. But I don't have to say it, it's sold out. You guys that are in it, I'd love feedback every step of the way on it. The meetup that you guys love here did not look like this when we first started. And it's become like a beginner hour and a topic of the week and the types of topics we focus on based on feedback. Ironically, I'm drawing a blank on the law that it is, but bringing this back to the social media conversation that we were talking about, there's this, is it Cunningham's law or something, that had a really big impact. It's one of the posts I did on social media that did really well on the TikTok that I was sharing with you guys. And it actually happened to also be something that had a really big impact on the way this meetup has developed and our community has become how it was. And I first discovered it because we didn't used to meet on Saturdays. We used to do a Monday, a 2. We were trying to figure out like what day worked. We landed on Saturday afternoons at this specific time after we've tried everything. And this is the one that did the best. But I had this genius idea to figure out what would work, and that is I would just send everyone in the community a poll, this survey tool called SurveyMonkey. And I spent hundreds of dollars on this survey, and I sent it out, and it was to figure out when you guys wanted to meet. And I got 0 responses. And I was so frustrated that no one took the time to respond. I mean, I took a mini course on how to get good at polls and surveys to send this out to the group, and no one responded. But Cunningham's law says if you really want to get feedback from someone, is to just say the wrong answer to something, because people love telling you you're wrong or pointing out why your idea doesn't hold water. So in the social media post, I put something, I said something. I've done it a few times through some of the social media posts and it never fails. But I put down that the capital of the United States was New York. And those posts did amazing. And several comments telling me that I should go back to school, that I'm not as bright as I look. A lot of stuff like that, as it fed the algorithm and made me get more engagement, of which I responded to every single one of them and thanked them for pointing it out, and then referenced them to Cunningham's law. And but anyhow, it had a lot to do with the group. So what I did is I went in one day, and I didn't do it because I knew of Cunningham's law. I just went in and I told everybody that I figured out the time that would work best, and I thanked everyone for their time in responding to the poll, and that we would be able to do 8 a.m. on Saturdays. And everybody responded on why 8 a.m. on Saturdays was bad. And not only did they respond saying why 8 a.m. on Saturday was bad, they also suggested a time that would work. And it was overwhelmingly between 12 and 2 on Saturdays. And that's how we met at 1 o'clock. So it's something you could deploy in your businesses. But we were talking about TikTok. I hadn't shared the TikTok profile I had. Somebody's asking a question? Yeah, sure.
One question.
Sure.
RM says, one of 2 questions, what are your best books you recommend? And then the second question is, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs in their 20s starting out?
Wow, those are 2 good questions. Okay, well, one of the books, you said you heard this, mention this on a video? On a YouTube video? One of them is a relatively new book as far as books go, but it was it's made my top 10, but is Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. So yeah, it's a good one. Specifically, one of my best performing podcasts and YouTube videos comes from something that I said out of that book. And actually a Toastmasters session where I grabbed some of it and created a presentation on it. And I'll mention some other books, that's obviously not the only one, but he said, I've been a guest on a lot of podcasts, and you might have been asked, and this person just asked a version of this question, and it's basically what makes an entrepreneur successful. what's the secret of your success, or how did you do good, or how did you stay in the game for 16 years here in Amazon space? And I always said a version of my wife, my team, hire people smarter than you, work on your business, not in your business. I thought that's what I said. And in the book, he says, when asked that, you hear nothing but a bunch of amateur podcasters and rookies say, my wife, hire people smarter than you, work more on your business than in your business. So that hurt, that hit me, like caught my attention, because I was like, so what is the answer? And it's the framework you have for how you solve problems. Because the only thing that is guaranteed that's gonna happen in your business is problems. Tariffs, competitors, suspensions, Amazon automatically just deciding to say that your phone case is a pesticide. You have a Cuban flag on your denim shorts and they can't tell the difference between that and made in Cuba, which has embargoes on it, and they just suppress you, and just insanities. Your place floods, your warehouse burns down, like all these different things. Your significant other leaves you. Just so many different things. And most people fail in business because they don't have a framework for solving businesses and solving problems, and being able to get a problem, break it down into smaller parts, and address each of the parts individually, instead of being overwhelmed. And that's what he says in that. He says a lot more in that book, but that's one part of that book that I think alone makes it worth reading. And when I heard it, I was ready to say, that's BS. You're an amateur podcaster, you mother, blah, blah, blah. And it's true. When I look back at different times where I thought I was in like an extinction level event in this business, or I was like stressed to the point of nausea, or cash flow, I was like, well, I guess cash flow is not going to swing back this time. You know, there was always a way, I always found a way to go back to sort of a framework. And it's not a specific, it is a specific framework, but I don't think me repeating it means you should use that same framework for you. But it's a framework that I have for just addressing problems when they come up. And then what happens is, because you know there's a framework, you're not afraid of putting yourself in a situation where a problem could arise. So you're able to be more aggressive in your businesses, because you're like, okay, that could happen. And if that happens, this is how I would address it. So Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. The question about best books, I mean, it would be easier for me if you said best books for X, because then I think I could give you 5 books for every niche within that. But without that, and because we're in a business meetup, I'm gonna say E-Myth Revisited is a great one. Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick Bet-David. The Founder's Dilemma. For business partners, say Founder's Dilemma and Slicing Pie. For having a very actionable way to stop doing everything yourself and start working with a team and virtual assistants, I'm gonna say Virtual Freedom by Chris Ducker, who was one of my first coaches. I'm gonna say Blue Ocean Strategy. That's gonna have a big part to do with the private label accelerator that I just mentioned earlier. You know, selling Me Too products now on Amazon is a great way to lose a lot of money. Almost the perfect recipe. But go figure, you sell a wine glass, you lose a lot of money. You put a gorgeous bee on it though, you know? But differentiation is really important. So Blue Ocean Strategy talks about that. There's one that I read recently that, and I'm drawing a blank on the name, but I remember, well, I'll tell you what, one that I'm reading right now that I'm not done with, that might make this list, Tiny Experiments. I'm drawing a blank on the author's name. It's great. We always talk about testing, but a lot of people I talk to, and they're like, I want to grow sales. I'm like, when's the last time you refreshed your main image? Well, I'm not messing with my main image because sales are good. You need to be able to experiment. If you don't have the stomach to change things out in good times, then you're going to be too reactive in bad times. Just show, I mean, if you can do a show of hands, like how many of when you go to get your images done, only request one main image? You're kind of shooting yourself in the foot right there, right? I mean, even on YouTube, I get a few different thumbnails, right? Because you don't know. but you want a few great main images. So if you don't have a few great main images to start, how are you testing anything?
The author of that is Tiny Experiments and Laura Lecomte.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't remember the name. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Nest Labs, fantastic, fantastic. But this really gets to, this book's not going to talk about Amazon, but it's going to talk about testing and tiny experiments. If you want to get into content creation, it's a great book. If you want to get into business, it's a great book. It gives you a blueprint. It allows you to still stay curious. And I know that seems fluffy, but when you're in business, you need to stay curious about stuff. And when you lose that edge, that curiosity, Tiny Experiments. Yeah, there's so many great books, man. But if you read those and you come back to me, I'll give you 10 more.
When he said your favorite book,
Yeah.
I guess he was referring to just business.
Sure.
But what would you say your favorite book is just
Overall?
like yeah, not necessarily a business book, like a motivational book, but maybe it's not just purely business based.
Wow. So I'll give you a few. I'm thinking about what I'm going to say because it's probably going to sound bad. But one of my favorite books is called How to Die.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why would that sound like a lot like?
Well, it sounds morbid, right?
Yeah.
But How to Die is basically showing you how to live. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So like, and How to Die and is just fantastic. Another one that's probably a little more mainstream that everyone knows, nothing like this book, How to Die, is The 48 Laws of Power.
Definitely.
Would be just an overall, this could cover personal, business, relationship.
Like a mandatory.
Yeah, this is like a mandatory read for me. It's 48 Laws of Power. Bonus, you get a history lesson as you read it, and you're probably going to be more knowledgeable about history and world events than 95% of the population after reading it. He's got a lot of other books in his series that he would read, and I'm a big reader on like Stoicism. So Ryan Holiday, I'm not a fan of a lot of his other beliefs, but Ryan Holiday has a lot of really good books just on Stoicism. And Ayn Rand, again, don't subscribe to all of her personal stuff, but Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead are two books that were very foundational for me. Yeah, those would be mine. Pretty much in that order, too. Yeah. So what did I say? How to Die, 48 Laws of Power. What was the other one I said after that? Stoicism, like a lot of different stuff about Stoicism. And then Ayn Rand, Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. Yeah, I'd read Atlas Shrugged first, personally, even though I've heard you should do it the other way around.
Atlas Shrugged.
Atlas Shrugged, yeah. Great, great, great book. Well, there was a second question in there. Is this about books?
Yes.
Yeah, go for it.
It's related to the book. So if going like in more like low level, would you recommend Amazon Jungle? Do you know this book?
No, that's by Curie Masters, right?
That's Jason Boyce.
Jason Boyce. I know Jason Boyce. I don't know a single Amazon book that I would recommend.
Okay. And what about SEO or BBC? Some like technical books.
The amount of time that it would make to put out a book or a course on PPC and publish it pretty much makes a chunk of it obsolete. That's how fast PPC is moving. So I can't think of one that I would recommend unless the entire book said this: in good times, you run ads. In bad times, in good times, you should run ads. In bad times, you must run ads. That's the only thing you can put in a book that would be evergreen about ads. The rest of it, as far as reading, like, you know, we spend a lot of time talking about Amazon. You can make a lot of money about Amazon, but Amazon's not that complicated.
Yeah, but like foundations about SEO, like clusters, keywords, and so on.
No, man. I can tell you that there's only one way to get really good at ads, and it's to lose money. Like, it's something no agencies, it doesn't sell you on working with someone, but what it kind of also means is the longer somebody has been doing it, the more data they kind of have, the more looks they've seen, the better they get at it, assuming they're paying attention to it, it's their money or they have some skin in the game and they're trying to do improvements constantly, then there's no way to teach that. Like there's some like basics.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
Like for example, the one I like to give here is more of a, instead of, like for example, when we interview somebody for an ad role, we used to ask them the questions like, what is ACOS? And the person says it, and tacos, and it's, a deck of 50 flashcards and you can know all the acronyms and terms and what is broad match and what is exact match. In reality, none of that's gonna make you ready for something like, you have 8,000 impressions and 5 clicks. What happened? Like what are the things that could have caused that? So like scenarios is what you wanna get into. And then you could get one scenario and write an entire book about all the different variations of that scenario. So I can't imagine that would go in a book. Yeah, so no, there isn't any that I'd recommend. Yeah, there's a book called The Wizard of Ads, no relation to us. That's a really good book about advertising. Ogilvy, anything by Ogilvy on ads is really good, but the majority of what they talk about in there is gonna be like newspaper, television, Mad Men type of ad days. And those are applicable now. And if you're able to see how they apply now, then you're good. But you're not gonna see Amazon, you're not gonna see ACOS, tacos, or any of that stuff in there.
I was thinking about like learning basics and fundamentals.
But to what end? Like why?
Because I don't have any experience, like, as I said, like, what is clusters, what is keyword, what is, like, hidden some keywords.
I can answer all those. I mean, this would be the perfect time to answer. Like, I can answer those for you, but like, let's say I share what clusters are, I talk about the different match types, like what would you do with that information?
Just to know what is it.
Right. I learned ads by doing it. And it's allowed me to create an agency, it's allowed me to do some really good stuff. If I was starting right now, I wouldn't have done it that way. I think as a business owner, we need, and I'm not, obviously it'd be super biased of me to say everyone should hire an agency, that's not what I'm saying, but no agency is gonna care about your stuff as much as you do. That's including me, it's everyone, like that's a fact. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get someone that's like excellent and that's really helping you out at your stuff. But what I would do if I was starting right now is I would learn those terms. I would hire someone, either an agency or someone in-house that you can work close with to, like, if it's something you decide you want to be able to do it, that you can learn from them and kind of say, for the next 6 months, this person's doing it. They're at least doing it profitably. My company's growing, and I'm learning at the same time. And my goal is, at the end of the 6 months, I'm going to take this over myself, and this person's no longer going to be with the company. Another variation of that would be bringing somebody in-house that acts as the person that's constantly cracking the whip, if you will, on the agency that you've hired, with maybe the same purpose, is to little by little pull back what the agency's doing and try to build it in-house, or just go with an agency. Because the only fourth option is you doing it by yourself and learning, and you memorizing those terms still does not save you from the 6 months of losing that you're going to do. Yeah. And I think if anyone gives you a different answer, they're selling you something. But there's no course or no book, unfortunately, that can, or software. I would love there to be a software that you could just plug in AI and do it, but no. That's what they say, self-driving cars and the Jetsons, and I'd be very happy. Yeah. So the other question,
Yeah.
he had a second question there, which was?
The second question is, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs in their 20s starting
Advice that I would give an entrepreneur in their 20s starting off would be to treat a meaningful part of their company like It's an e-com meetup, so I'm assuming the person wants to get into e-com, and it's what I would give somebody wanting to get into e-com at their 20s. I think they should treat about 40% of their business as a media company. And think about 40% of their business as a media company. Be very agile when it comes to content creation. And that means starting off probably with one medium and getting really good at it and then slowly expanding. But if you don't, your dependency on paid ads on the platform that you're selling is going to be what I would call at an unhealthy level. Yeah. It's also going to really dictate the types of products that you can sell. I'll give you an example. You guys know Creations by Natalie, Ricky from the group, right? How many of you have gone to Creator Connect and started building the email list that I've been telling you guys about for, I think, a year now, right? When did you start? After, so recently. Ricky started about 4 or 5 months ago, right? Ricky, from the owner of Creations by Natalie, from the group, he's at 9,000 emails, right? Very robust email stuff going on. He is probably, by this time next year, obviously, you should run ads in good time and you have to run them in bad times. But he could possibly be at a point, in my opinion, that this time next year, he could stop running ads on Amazon and be making more in sales. He'll be making even more with ads, but could be making the same amount that he's making right now or more in sales without running Amazon ads because of his email list. Ricky knows nothing about email marketing. As a matter of fact, he doesn't know a great deal about digital marketing, period. But what he has is a brand that lends itself very well to content. It's terrariums. And think about the making of the terrariums and all the little knickknacks that go into terrariums. And a willingness to think of himself as partly as a media company. And it's going fantastic. So I'd recommend doing that.
So what does Ricky do? Just say
Yeah, that's it. He doesn't even have, which I'm just cringing. He just has a random VA sending random emails and sitting at a 25% open rate, right? Because the quality of the emails that came in are great quality. But who wants to be in that position? So if you're 20 years old and doing this, pick one content medium. Do not do a Tom in this case. Do not launch a YouTube video. No, don't launch 8 YouTube channels, 6 podcasts, 9 brands by Monday. Right? Not everyone can wear a cape, right? Pick one content medium. I really don't care what it is. As a matter of fact, the one that everyone says is kind of you can't do anything right now, which is when they say that, that's where I want to be, is the written word because of ChatGPT and all that there. Embrace writing. I don't care. Embrace one of them and try to make 40% of your effort and resources be as that of a media company. That's what I would recommend to a 20-year-old starting off right now. Absent any other knowledge about that person, that's what I would do. Tom?
Maybe I'm mistaken what Ricky's doing, because I thought we were talking about creative networks with a newsletter, looking at the newsletters.
Yep.
Does he have a newsletter?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you just said emails.
No, he has got a newsletter.
So he made a newsletter with conversion.
I would even say, I don't even know that I would call it a newsletter, but yes, he's sending emails as if they were newsletters to the people that he has on his newsletter list through Creator Networks. Yeah. Yeah, over 8,000. I think pushing 9,000.
What was he paying for the acquisition?
Very little.
25 cents, whatever.
Knowing Ricky's, so it was, it wasn't a lot.
8,000 is a lot in that time frame. What is he?
He took action.
Yeah, but what's he doing now?
By the way, what you guys are witnessing is competitive Tom. He just realized somebody pulled ahead of him on something. Next week he's going to be at 12,000. But just look at the face so you recognize it for next time.
Right. Okay. What is he going to do with his 8,000? Has he figured out a way to monetize it yet? What is he doing?
Well, that's what we were talking about this morning. It was kind of okay, this is what I think you should be doing.
But at 8,000, you should have already turned on that lever.
Yeah, I mean, he's using, He's using Amazon attribution links, but I found out he's not using referral. I mean, there's a lot that has to be done. But the important thing is, if he continues this, he can be pushing 100,000 freaking emails in a year, be able to launch anything the frick he wants in his category off the back of that. It'll help him in his brick and mortar storefronts, it'll help him online, it'll help him everywhere. If he wants to sell courses in that space, he's gonna be able to do it, all of it. He could get paid ads in his newsletters. It could do better than his actual current physical product business. So that's why I recommend it to a 20. I recommend it to everybody, regardless of the age. But that's what I recommend to a 20-year-old. Those were some great questions today. Personal books. I think everyone's going to send me like antidepressant medication now because I said how to die. Yeah.
Seen some automation tool for email, so you said you mentioned some
ConvertKit. He's using, I mean,
VA.
yeah. He uses a VA to put together the email newsletter. Everything can get as complicated as you want it to get, but you got to start. If you try to make it really complicated to start, it's not going to take off. You're in the accelerator, right? We're going to be talking about that. Like, you're going to have a list. Yeah, and that's going to be a pretty big cornerstone of like what we're going to do. And the good thing is if you're thinking about launching a new brand or something different, you can do this before you have a product. Like, wait, as a matter of fact, you could take a year and a half, you could say, I want to get into private label, but I only have $500. And you could have, while you're building up your money for a year and a half, 2 years from now, when you start your thing, you could be in a better position than the person who had a product right now and has been selling it for 2 years because you did that first. And more profitable. So, no, we're going to go into like serious depth on that.
What would be if you have to choose one point of entry for like distribution, which one would you choose?
Between?
Email newsletter.
I think regardless of the content medium you choose, and by that we're talking about audio, we usually think of a podcast. Video could be any of the forms of video that are out there. Platform. I think email has to play a part in all of it. If anything, it was described to me at Kajabi Hero Live, they called it the bridge. And I think that's the best description I've ever heard of it. And that is wherever you're at creating content, you really want that content to be free. Free and high value. I prefer a long form free high value, but that's when people that are into shorts start coming in and like there's a debate, but whatever, but free long form high value content. Just make it free value. But how do you sell with free? Well, you can't. Otherwise it wouldn't be free, right? You're selling. So you need to get them from free to selling. And to do that, you usually use, and this is where everyone freaks out, it's marketing, it's a lead magnet. And it could be something as simple as, here's our seasonal guide for refreshing your terrarium for the season. I don't even know if that's a thing. And it's a Google Doc that was created by ChatGPT. Like, there's going to be a good percentage of people that want to know it. They're going to give their email, they're going to get it, and then via email you sell. You sell them on the offer. So email is your bridge to the offer, to take you from free to sell. Yeah. So regardless if it's a podcast and you're referring to the lead magnet, whether it's a video and you're referring to the lead magnet, email is going to play a part. Some people just email is the end all be all. The newsletter, and in the newsletter, there's some downloads because you don't want to be selling in the newsletter really. And then that's the bridge. So sometimes it's newsletter to email, which is the same thing. So it just depends on where you want to start. Email's probably going to be, it should be in there anyway because you don't own your platform on those other, you can get deplatformed. Yeah, okay, yep.
Can I slip in a question?
Yeah, let's do it.
So,
Perfect timing.
just a general, like, overall business question, like, how do you, maybe giving how you approach it in business, how do you stay, like, consistent in your business, like, during the maybe 4 work week, like, or do you take, like, specific days and you batch tasks, like, hey, I'm gonna focus on my warehouse issues on Tuesday. I'm gonna focus on outreach and email on Thursdays. Or how do you approach that? How do you just keep consistent in your business? 'Cause I know with us, like, we have some days that we're really productive, and then some days we're still productive, but maybe not as much as like that one superstar day that we
I think I do really good at this, but let me just say, because I also feel a little bit of a fraud up here saying this, I still have a lot of days like peppered throughout the month that I have bad days. So like, I think really important is how to get back, recognizing that you've kind of gone off the rails and being able to bring yourself back, right? But what's worked really, really good for me, to the point that if I don't do it, I notice the difference that day, is journaling. So like I do business journaling. I use something called High Performance Planner by Brendan Burchard, which is just, I like the word journaling because diary sounds like, I only hear diary if it's like a girl diary, but don't think bad of me, Candace. Journal just sounds a little more like alpha enough. It's alpha enough to me. But you also have just like freestyle, I'm just writing my feelings, nothing against that. But then you have something called prompt journaling. So High Performance Planner is more of a prompt journal. So like, for example, one of the prompts is, what are your top goals, even if you can't work on them today? And the reason that's important is you feel like if you're not doing something on that goal every day, you're failing and you're falling behind and you've given up. And it's not the case. But it gives you permission to prioritize on what you are going to work on that day, but you're acknowledging that this is still a goal. Huge impact that it has on your day. And it has a lot of other really important prompts. Some of them you might find fluffy, but I think matter, and that is like, who's somebody that needs you on your A game today? Like one person that you're going to reach out to, and so it keeps it human. The other thing I do is, I'm a massive like power user of the Pomodoro effect, the Pomodoro technique. So I do sprints, and then I have 10 to 15 minute bursts of, I might watch Twitch, and a bunch of people cussing each other out over Call of Duty, but basically just a shutdown. It doesn't mean you go listen to a business podcast, but sometimes just doodling on a piece of paper or something mindless that allows you, an alarm goes off and then you jump back to your other task. I usually do 45-minute sprints. Back half of the day, it's probably like 30-minute sprints. If I find myself flailing on some 15-minute sprints, which means I put the alarm on and I'm going. In addition to that, I batch tasks. So like on the content side, the research side of your brain and the creation side of your brain are completely different. If you try to do them at the same time, you're gonna get frustrated. So I don't plan those on the same day. If I have a lot of calls to make, I put all the calls together. I don't do a call, an email, run an errand, back to a call. No, I just knock them out. So like tasks, like the side of your brain that you use to do one thing, you do it, and you go over it. I live off my calendar. So my day is planned. Like you have to plan your day. My lunch is planned, my thinking time is planned, my goals for the day are planned, everything's planned. I like to give emojis on my calendar to make it look fun and like a campaign, and that really like jazzes it up with different colors, and like that's what my calendar looks like. Let me see. Like lots of colors and emojis. Big tooth one is they're finally about to put this tooth back in my mouth that I've been missing from the surgery for a while. So like that's coming up. It's got this big dental tooth and smiley faces and a mic, because now I can talk without looking this way, because I'm scared this is gonna come out and I look like, what's the pirate? Jack Sparrow. But like, so a lot of those things together is what work together to make it work. Sleep. I've been very like anti-sleep. Most of my entrepreneur or whatever was like a badge of honor. I go to bed at 12 and I get up at 3. Catches up to you. And now that I've been really focusing on like health stuff especially, I could do 6 hours and 5 hours for a few days, but after 2-3 days, it's gonna catch me. And I'm just hurting myself, I'm not recuperating, so I get 7 to 8. Now, you can have all the other stuff I said, fine, but silly things like making sure you and your significant other aren't in odds, getting enough sleep, hydrating, all that together, if you can nail all those things, that's it. That's what I do.
Carlos, do you do like a 20-20-80 principle?
I'm sorry, like a 80-20 principle?
Yeah. Do you know what is that?
Yeah, yeah. What's the name of that again? Pareto principle. Do I do it? Like it's not something I like actively do every day, but if I'm looking at a bunch of products that are selling, I'll always know like what's my 80-20 there with these products. I know on my teams what my 80-20 is with personnel. I know what are the 80-20 tasks that I do, but I'm not like reevaluating that every day.
Okay. Now the follow-up question to you is, Max, or
Yeah, let's do it.
based on your experience with sourcing, this wasn't follow again. Sourcing, while you're waiting for, when you first are reach out people, how many do you usually, I didn't ask before, how many do you usually reach out, wait for their answers, and we move to the next?
How many suppliers do I reach out to before?
Yeah, in general, one time in a day, and then, okay, if today's not working, and we move to the next batch, like, what's the good number of there for you to reach out?
Are you talking about suppliers or are you talking about wholesale?
Suppliers,
But wholesale suppliers to buy stuff for resale, or are you talking about factories?
factory.
Well, I would reach out to a whole bunch of them at first. I don't think the problem is so much about reaching out to them, it's more for the follow-up. I think a lot of people just send out an email and say, never heard back from them, and but a lot of people send you communications and you probably don't get back to them if they, but they follow up with you. So if I send an email and I don't get a response, I'll follow up, and then if I didn't get a response on the email, then I'll call. And if I really want to get a hold of them, I don't call, I'll hit them up on LinkedIn. And I'll hit them up everywhere.
Okay.
And then once I've hit them up everywhere and followed up, at that point I'm kind of writing them off. But usually before I get there, I will have responses from others and we've advanced the relationship. So like, if you have 30 people you can reach out to, I'd reach out to all 30, but just make sure you have something set up to track following up with them.
Okay.
Yeah, and follow up with them everywhere. Like pretend you have a $10,000 winning lotto ticket, and you just need to get someone to speak to them so they can redeem it, like and cash you out. And you wouldn't limit that to just one email. Like you'd be persistent. Remember, you're trying to spend money with them,
Yeah.
so I would be persistent. Yeah. I mean, what if the person you're speaking to is on like maternity leave and I don't know, they didn't cover this person's leaving for X amount of time and they're busy. So like, yeah, follow up.
Okay. Thank you. And for earlier, your TikTok account, congratulations for the booming.
Yeah.
How did you pick up how did you know this is my next video? The topic of the video. Where did you get the idea coming from?
So-
Do you go after trending topics, or you just randomly have one come up on your mind and have an environment to feel and have all the pictures and everything, and then you just go with it?
Yeah. Again, this is one of those things that, like social media, that I think people make more complicated than it needs to be. Using YouTube as an example, you look for outliers. So you look at recurring patterns of stuff that works, and then you do that. I'll dive deeper into that in a second so it makes sense, and then I'll show you what I did. Like I'll show you the tools that I use for social media to do that.
Okay. Super.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Two of the main tools that I use for that, one of them is called SortFeed, and the other one's called Clip2. So SortFeed and Clip2 AI. So Outliers for a second, and I'll use YouTube as the example because that's the one we've used to use, and I feel like it was really well described. It used to take me like an hour to describe this, and there's this guy named Ed Lawrence who put together a YouTube course. He did a great job putting this together in like a few sentences. But you can go on YouTube, you have people that create content for entertainment purposes or edutainment, education purposes, right? Like those two camps. If you're a business, you usually want nothing to do with the entertainment portion of them unless you're an entertainment business. So it's a trap. Like a lot of people will run, if you have a business, you'll run into the entertainment side. It's gonna lead to a flame out unless you're deciding to embrace some kind of like video production company or heavy, like more than 40% media production company in your company. But you're gonna get these dopamine hits from quick views. You stop producing content, you'll stop getting views. If you're a business, you wanna be in the educational or edutainment side of things. So when you look at a YouTube channel, you first need to decide what camp is that channel. And if it's in the camp you wanna be, then you're like, okay, let me now mine this channel for Outliers. On social media, it's the same thing. So every platform has a different thing. Is the person creating content that you're looking at more into the entertainment camp, or are they more into the education or edutainment camp? Now, you with me so far? Because I'm gonna keep bouncing back and forth from YouTube, so you could, and I could do this with Amazon, YouTube, and social media if you wanted to. But back to YouTube, you've now found a channel that is edutainment or education on that. I'm just gonna say edutainment, but you know what I'm talking about, that side of things. Once you know that, you wanna make sure that they're posting content regularly, roughly once a week, right? And you wanna look at their most recent 8 videos. You add them up, and then you average them out. So let's say that their average view count per video is 150,000, right? Views, nice. Now you look at the last year of their content. For any content they have that is getting 5x their average. So what is that, 700,000 roughly? Public math. So now you go back in the last year of the content and you're looking for anything that's got, everything else could be good videos, but you're looking at 700,000 and above. And you only want to look for about the last year, year and a half. Once you find them, it's going to be a much shorter list, but it's a very powerful list. This is where they broke out to new audiences, right? And a content creator, even a great one, like 1%, as Ramon likes to say, like a Mr. Beast, you only break out usually every 10, we're talking about edutainment now, every 10 to 15 videos you put out, you break out to a new audience, right? Every 10 to 15, roughly 10 to 15 videos you put out, assuming decent content creation levels, you'll break out to a new audience, meaning your average is, you started your video, you get 25 views. If you keep posting and your content stays the same or slightly better, you're probably gonna see within 10 to 15 videos a breakout where you see 2,800 views. That's your first mini breakout. And then that'll happen about 10 or 15 later, you get a 42,000 breakout. So now your averages keep going up. But if you go back and look at these content creators, what that means on a weekly publishing schedule is that great content creators break out, I don't know, 5 times a year. But it tells you the discipline you have to stay with it and do it right. Okay, so that's on YouTube. Same thing on social media. So you can go, let's just use Instagram as an example, but you can use Instagram and TikTok. TikTok's a little slighted because views aren't as good quality on TikTok. But if you use Instagram, let's use Instagram because Clip 2 works, Sort works really good on Instagram. So you find a creator that is in the edutainment side, is posting regularly, and has an average view count that you've seen of 100,000, you're looking for their outliers. You can use this tool just to pull all their outliers into a sheet, right? But now that you have the outliers, if you're gonna be recording video, you still need scripts. So the other tool that I use will just script all of it for you. It'll just grab word for word what that person said and put it into a script for you. That's it. I mean, that's 99% of the work. If you want, you could run it through ChatGPT and put some twist to it, or say, can you make this applicable to, and then, insert your industry, insert your thing, your service, your business. You can get some suggestions on different hooks. Like you can get as fancy as you want to make it afterwards, but you don't need to, because you've already seen a whole bunch of people that are doing this same freaking thing and doing great with it. So like, why reinvent the wheel? But that's really it. And as far as knowing like what's going to work, like there's a little bit of BS to that. If anyone's, there's people out there that like sell you on stuff that claim that, but there's usually like a lot of there's a lot of variables in there that don't apply to everyone that I can usually point out pretty fast if I see it. But that's it. That's the only thing we do. So on the TikTok one, the reason I hadn't shared it with everyone was because you don't want in any of these platforms to bring in a whole bunch of your contacts into your launch to sort of poison the algorithm. Because the majority, like for example, if I'm gonna start creating some content on TikTok and you guys hear me talk about the topics that I talk about all the time, are you really that eager to rush over and see the thing I'm watching on TikTok? No, we see each other all the time, right? It's the people that don't see you that you want to do it. So when you're first launching, you don't want your audience and everybody else running over and ruining, they're not going to watch it the whole time, just hurting your chances of ranking in the algorithm. Yep.
In the chat, RM said thanks for the answers earlier with the books and the book reviews right now. And they asked another question, what's the best way to learn from YouTube videos? What is the best way to learn from YouTube videos, courses, or live meetups?
Live meetups. Yeah. I think the best way to learn is in person, but if you live in a country that there's no live meetups, I mean, go with what you can, just try to get better. I would just say make sure that you're not like 99% theory, 1% practice. So if you're gonna go learn CapCut, you could take a course on CapCut. And at the end, you could know all the terms about CapCut or PPC, but you still ain't gonna be able to edit, right? So what I would say is chapter 1, how to import a file. Watch it, start it again, pause it, go import a file, and figure out all the things that you missed that it didn't say, and then actually do it and get your hands dirty and do it. Apprentice yourself to somebody and do it. But I don't think anything beats in person. Some of the in person is not so obvious, but when you see other people doing it and they're sharing real wins and they can show you, a lot of what holds us back is this doubt that it's possible. And there's no greater proof from other people around you that it's possible when it's real people. So I don't think anything beats in-person meetups. Yeah. What other questions we have? How are we on time? 2:30. Okay.
Myself, at what point did you find that you needed to bring someone on board, like a first staff member? At what point did you say, all right, we need to get someone to help us on a daily basis? What are your thoughts, just general thoughts on that?
I should have done it a lot sooner than what I did. I wound up exiting a business before I even brought somebody on, which was, in hindsight, horrible. I want to say, if possible, you should do it from the very beginning. And I know I get beat up for that because your business isn't making any money. How are you hiring someone to? And I think it's most business owners work on a lot of things in the very beginning that they really shouldn't be working on and that somebody can do better. And they absolutely hate those tasks. And if they could just focus on the thing that would be the 80-20 of the business, it would actually make money quicker. So,
What was one thing that you worked on in the beginning?
huh?
What was one thing you worked on in the beginning?
I have severe gastritis, esophagitis, and Barrett's cough to this day. this is a real word, guys, the esophageal sphincter, mine's gone, right? Right, the thing that checks the acid and stuff from coming up, mine's gone. I used to have insomnia, pretty bad, and I embraced it as a superpower in my business. Because back then, it was primarily eBay before Amazon. But the longer I could stay up, the more orders I could print out. So we would literally get 2 to 3 5-hour energy drinks in a blender, a colada, right? And a scoop of whatever pre-workout we could find, which back then was Hyde, which I think is banned from the US right now, right? Water, like a Zephyr Hills, blend it, and we would drink it on day 2 because we were lagging on the 3rd night and we thought we'd go to sleep on the 3rd night. We would do these things like regularly. And I would print labels all night. Not pack. We printed labels all night just to get to where we didn't hit 2 days late. Because it didn't matter if we printed all night long, we couldn't catch up on the orders going out. So I spent what's probably, I mean, this sounds weird to say this, I probably spent a year of my life that I was supposed to be sleeping printing labels. I mean, that doesn't get worse than that. That's printing, not packaging. And then if we got ahead by half a day, we would get that massive stack of labels, paper, fold them, put them in the plastic sheets that we stole from every local USPS and FedEx and UPS we can find, peel the back, stick it to the thing, and throw the thing in the back of the car. And when we couldn't fit anything but a driver in the car, that person would then take that thing to the post office. Yeah. Well, maybe worse, when we got a return, because we had a lot of suspended accounts in the beginning. You know how Amazon can link your accounts. We had to take off the FN SKU labels from the old products. You know how Amazon slaps these stickers on everything? I used to have, you know how people have like black circles under their eyes from no sleep? My fingers to the mid knuckle used to stay black from bruises, from how hard my fingernails would be pulling off the FN SKU labels of these products. Like tens of thousands of them. There's something called a Scotty peeler that you can get. And it's basically like a little spatula to take these things off. Yeah, and I used to listen to motivational recordings as I walked around wincing because I'm like, I'm gonna break a knuckle here taking labels off. So like, man, I did a lot of really dumb stuff. That's a 3PL, they existed. That's a $1 an hour VA to print out those labels on a time zone that they could have did it while I slept. Like, man, that's just like, I could spend an entire meetup just telling about the stupid things I've done that I shouldn't have did. Yeah, so I would say hire a VA as soon as freaking possible. And then the framework to figure out what VA you should hire is that thing I tell everybody about, the 4 lists, which is make a list of everything you love to do in your business, everything you hate to do in your business, everything you do to manage your business, and everything you do to grow your business. And then once you've done that, remove everything that's sales or strategic, and everything else should be off your plate. So if you see something there that says you pull a report every morning at X time so it can be looked at, great. That's basic data entry. The person needs to be able to use a Google Sheet, and it takes 30 minutes. And you do that for every single task, and it tells you what you need.
How long do you spend time on editing video?
I don't edit videos.
That takes a lot of my time.
I bet. Could you mind sharing how many hours per day?
I do at least 3 videos a day, 3 to 4 videos a day, and in the afternoon I have to go pick my daughter, and I only very limited time to, I'm very relaxed. Like filming Monday, I have to edit, like I don't have time to edit until Wednesday.
So are you a video editor?
Releasing for my account, yes.
Right, but are you a video editor?
No.
Right, you have no specialty skills in video editing. Right, so it's safe to say somebody could do that very cheap much more effective, and in less time than you. What are the things that you could do that that person can't do? That's the whole exercise you do. Yeah, and then usually the big pushback is, yeah, but how much would that person charge? Let's say the person charged 15 bucks per video. And you have 3 videos per day, and then you're like, $45 a day. We can't afford $45 a day. That's $450, $900, is that $1,300 a month? Am I doing that right? Okay, I can't do $1,300 a month. Okay, what would the activities be that you would be doing during that time? Because if it's take a nap, if it's play video games or whatever, then we have the math doesn't math. But what is the other thing that you would be doing during that time? And if that thing would bring in close to that amount of money or more, then that's what you do. But you shouldn't be doing video editing. 100%. No. Yeah. The person could probably do, you'll never, even if you could do it a little quicker, you're never going to be able to scale it. But a video editor would. And you could throw a rock and hit a video editor.
Well, after practice every day, pretty much, now a lot faster than the beginning, but I would still love to scale it. So every time I learn something new, it makes me happy.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Some new skills.
cool. But yeah, I wouldn't be spending a few hours a day doing video editing. Most YouTubers tell you that the biggest thing they regret was how long they stayed video editing.
In addition to previous situation, like, how would you hire a good person, a good VA, to do something if you're not a professional, you don't have experience in it?
Yeah.
You can hire someone who is doing it bad, then another person, you will just lose money. What I mean, maybe it's a good idea to have some experience, not to be like a great professional, but to have some experience in some area and then hire someone. Or to have, I don't know, HR department or something.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. How do you hire someone if you don't have the experience in doing the thing? So like basically, how do you know they're doing it right?
Like, like I don't have experience in editing video, right?
Right.
I can hire like a good and cheap, let's say. Because I can hire a good and expensive, for sure.
Well, so using video editor as an example, you don't know how to do video editing and you want to know how to make sure that you're getting someone that's good and cheaper. Well, part of the good news here is the person's guaranteed going to be better than you because you don't know anything, right? So like, at a minimum, you're better off than where you were. But you're gonna interview the person. You're gonna be able to see a portfolio of their work. You know, if in her case, yeah, you know, in this case, she's gonna have a few videos maybe that she's already done, and then she's gonna say, hey, look, as part of this, you know, you're saying that you charge $15 a video. I'll give you the 15 bucks. Edit this.
But again, you can like this video, but this video will not sell. Because
Well,
okay, I like this video, but
yeah, but there is no guarantees that the product you order will sell. There is no guarantees in anything. But it's pretty, especially with like a meetup group like this, but also online. It's a lot of these marketplaces where you find your first virtual assistant for, say, video editing. It's a very competitive category, and like they really, the prices are really, you know, drop down, especially for shorts right now with TikTok.
Like how much, like what kind of price range?
We just hired a full-time shorts editor. It looks like, well, you don't know how many videos that they can create and edit within a 40-week period. So can't come up with a how much this is going to cost us per video until we know that. But I would say that we're going to fall somewhere in like the $6 range. Yeah. But the person's packages on another one that we're testing right now is just yesterday. Somebody that's on our team named Mari. She's going to be going pretty heavy into the video side of things. she's going to have a dedicated video editor working for her. Until we know that person's good enough to come on full time, what are your packages? And, you know, it was something like, I think it came down to like $14.75 a video. I'm not going to debate with him on his price for his packages right now. Like, I just want to see if there's good chemistry there, you're going to work together. At some point, if that works, you know, I'll make an offer for something full time and put together something nice, and we go from there. But his high end, his package where he is super happy was $14.75. So.
For just one, what kind of video?
This was for a short, the equivalent of what I have on TikTok.
Oh, okay, yours on TikTok are a minute or less.
Yes, they're less than a minute.
So, but when you shot that, you'll shoot like for, 30 minutes, 40 minutes straight, and they just pick segments to make sure?
No, those were, literally what we do is we have these I worked on with Alex White. You're gonna work with Alex. We plan a day to go over some scripts. We're gonna shoot about 20 videos is what we shoot for. I don't think we've hit 20 on any of them because something comes up and comes in, we talk about it, that's several hours. And then another day he comes in and we do the shoot. But how it works is like, I'll be looking over here at you, camera will be right on me. There'll be a light somewhere, I forget where, but the light's gonna be here. There'll be an accent light sitting in the back. And then this is how basic we've got it, because he doesn't like teleprompters. But I'm looking at you, and then you will tell me, he was an elementary school dropout. You read the first line of the script. You say, he was an elementary school dropout. I said, he was an elementary school dropout. And you repeat the next line. And I repeat the next line, but with some feeling. And we do 6 lines. That's it. We're on to the next video.
Who writes the scripts?
I come up with a lot of the ideas, and I base them, Alex and I both base them off of Outliers, like I described earlier. But the scripts are 5-6 sentences, so it's not that heavy.
So you'll come up with 20 different 5-6 sentence scripts.
Right. I could come up with a few hundred ideas a month,
Okay.
especially if you're basing them off of Outliers. Like, because every time you find a few channels that you like, they have thousands of videos that are already done, and you can see what worked and what didn't work. And I just repeat it. The editor, all the editor's doing is cutting his voice out, or he's repeating it to me. That's it. And if there's any B-roll that's added in, some music, making sure that it's trending music or something that's, happening on TikTok. But that's it.
A lot of time, like, people just don't think, oh, I need the followers, but why people follow you? That there's a reason why people follow you. So a lot of people don't think, but now you're pointing to why you stop, why you think, or why you want to watch this person. Like 10, 20 seconds, a lot of value bring to you, either for entertaining or educational. Only those two. Think about it. And when you're on your scroll, just those 2 reasons, either educating, like colleges, or like you are entertaining, having fun, laughing, and only those 2 things. And once you have built up your followers, like people really like you, and then you have more one-off, and that means your channel success. I see it. And also, if the content is like you're engaging with each other, then push you a little better. But you have to be controversial. Yeah, you just get on purpose and get along. And when you're cooking, you have flyers on it, just fly on it, and then people will like see something that it's fun. Yeah. And the Carlos, back to the basics. Shall we?
Yes.
For what stage do you recommend to have insurance on your Amazon account?
I would have insurance in your business from the beginning.
Does like a
But look, since we started, since you last looked at the TikTok, just to give you an example, it's got 63 more followers.
Wow. Here four.
Right, yeah, four of you from here. But
Insurance for the Amazon, will they reach out to you, say, hey, you guys need the insurance for your Amazon seller account, or they won't say anything?
yeah, they're going to tell you, but there's an amount, there's a threshold. I forget the number that you can't exceed. Yeah, I mean, the insurance is so cheap. I would just get it because you have a business. That's, huh?
What does it cover?
I think a Sureful. There's Ashland Haddon, but a Sureful had some of the best rates, and I think a Sureful was like $18.
What about Next?
I don't know them. It was $18 a month or something like that?
Which one do you use?
A month. Annually, which is less than 100 per month. Right. Yeah. Who did you go with? Yeah. Yeah. Ashland Haddon and a Sureful seem to have been the best. And
Sureful?
yeah, a Sureful, like I'm assured.
What type of insurance?
General liability and I think it was just general liability. It was what Amazon requires. Yeah. Yeah, but just,
We need insurance.
yeah, I would say so, because you definitely passed that limit. I don't know how you're getting away with not having insurance. You sure you don't?
Yeah, we don't have insurance.
Okay, yeah, I would get it.
Because even we're doing like wholesale, and the brands are like still, turn me off, like, your account doesn't qualify, we were suspending and probably the insurance.
Yeah, but it costs so little. You probably spend more in gas coming here to the meetups every week than you would the insurance. Like, I would totally get that insurance.
Okay.
Yeah, I would prioritize that.
Will you be like, will you be able to tell the account no insurance and the with insurance? Can you tell the difference? Not for like private label side, for like a wholesale type of account. Do you see the difference
Do I see the difference in what?
in the account with insurance and then without insurance?
When it gets sued, yes.
Let me, I want to
Yeah.
ask a question. So, there's certain categories that we're seeing that like Amazon is not allowing us to sell. So I'm suspicious that they're not knowing, they're restricting us from like certain categories because we don't have insurance.
I don't think that has anything to do with it.
No.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, it must be below Amazon's radar, otherwise they would have given you a warning and you don't have it by X time, they're gonna.
Yeah.
I would get that done before Q4. Otherwise that might be your Q4 surprise.
Okay.
What else we got?
Yeah, but you know, all my questions are from general and common because
Yeah, that's great.
yeah, I'm new to it. So when you launch a new product or like let's say even research a new category, sometimes Amazon requires some certifications, testing and so on. How would you research and learn all the certifications?
That's a great question. Amazon doesn't seem to have a comprehensive place. I reach out to them and ask.
About just support or manufacturer?
I reach out to Amazon support and ask. I research around the web to see what I can pull up on that product, but they don't have a single page that's very accurate or comprehensive that says what those things are. So much so that what I try to advise people to trigger an early FBA shipment, even at the expense of a honeymoon period, to trigger an early FBA shipment to go in just to flag anything on Amazon, because usually sending in an early FBA shipment will, even if it's a mock shipment, like you don't actually ship, but the creation of it and showing you have something going inbound, a lot of the times will trigger some stupidity on their side, like pesticide or hazmat or medical, or you need a such and such, you know what I mean? It does, and you're like, okay, this buys me a month.
So it's not a step of creating listing, it's a step of creating shipping.
No, they'll let you create a listing of almost anything, but just because you can list it doesn't mean you're actually gonna be able to sell it. Yeah, so you could list a hazmat product, but as soon as their bots figure out that something in there is what they call hazmat, it's going to get flagged as hazmat, and then because you're not in hazmat, you're not going to be able to sell it. You're not going to be able to ship it. But like anything that's a child, if it's going to get anything near a child, or an earring, a toy, child blanket, anything like that, you're going to need to do it. If it's going to be supplements now, yeah, supplements now for almost everything. Topicals. Any topicals, beauty products, just know you're going to need something. Anything that you're going to say,
Improves health.
yeah, any medical claims, kill claims, cruelty-free, badges, anything like that, be ready. And I would say regardless of the product you get a material safety data sheet or a safety data sheet for that product, like of what materials it's made out of, where you got it from. Yeah. If you have a specific product in mind, I might be able to tell you, yeah.
Yeah, actually I used ChatGPT and it gave me a few suggestions what certificates I need, and it says ask your manufacturer before order.
Yeah, I think Amazon is so bad in that regard that I don't think asking ChatGPT is a bad idea.
Bad idea or better?
I think it's a good idea.
Asking them exactly.
A lot of time when you list your product, it'll start to give you those doors that you need to open before you actually go live with your product. But, for kids, for example, if you have a kid's earring and one's made out of gold and one's made out of pearl, you need a safety data sheet for each one specifically, not just kids' earrings, but for each type of earring and each type of material it's made out, especially if it's touching a kid. So just be aware, there's certain categories in Amazon that are really sensitive and you need that safety data sheet. And insurance, Chris and Tim.
Yeah.
Especially if you're doing, what is it, Carlos, over 10,000 in sales? 10,000 in sales, you were required to have insurance.
Per month or in any?
Total. Right, Carlos, is that it, 10,000?
It sounds about right.
If you don't have insurance for $10,000, they can shut down your account, so you're just rolling the dice. So, business expense, write it off, get it done, put your head on the pillow at night, sleep well.
Have you heard of Tivly as an insurance?
No,
Have you, Tom? Tivly, anybody?
no.
Because I used this
I've
really
seen
good.
it advertised, but yeah.
I used this company called Next, was for DJ insurance, and they were great. And I just asked their AI, do they have that? And they said no, but they have an affiliate partner for that.
I mean, I would try to work with someone I was already working with, but outside of that, Assureful's solid. Really, really good.
And the coverage amount, obviously, it just depends on the product.
How Assureful explains it is that a lot of these other insurance people, they need to go to underwriters. They are the underwriters, which is why they say they can charge so little.
Okay.
But one of the things that they do is, a lot of these other insurance people, they're like, oh, you're in supplements. What's your gross sales per year? And you got to tell them an amount that you're not going to exceed, so you pick a higher number, and then they insure you based on that. Assureful bases you on the size of your business, where you're at that time. So when you're down, it's very little. When you're up, it's at the higher amount. But very flexible. Some of the best prices out there I've seen. They know Amazon. They know how to set it up for you once you get it. Really good.
See, they should give you a Carlos code.
They were a sponsor.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they were a sponsor a long time ago. I think they got really tied up with the whole aggregator crisis when they went down, and they needed to pull back on a lot of their sponsorships. But I still recommend them because they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Question.
Yep. What's the question?
Skate Tutor says anything new?
Who? What's his name?
Skate Tutors.
Skate tutors?
Skate Tutors.
Like a tutor for skating?
Tutors, I am.
I like that. Watch him have like a great course. He like tutors people on how to skate. That is genius.
And then a couple of other people said, good, they like the story about your, the printing the labels, and then, they said, that'd be a good, great meetup, dumb things that you've done over the years. As a, that'd be good.
I've done them.
But, his question here is, or he or she, the skate tutors, is, anything new with the Amazon Influencer Program, or tips on talking to brands, something wayward?
Wayward.
No, brands through wayward.
Yeah. I have like a 3-hour meeting and possible podcast recording with Wayward this coming week. So I'll be able to speak more on it. I know Eud, I think is how you pronounce his name, Eud. I've known Eud for 10 years. Good guy. So I feel confident in saying that it's going to be good, but I don't have firsthand experience yet on Wayward.
What's Wayward?
It's like I guess I would call it an AI that connects you to influencers.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Are there a lot of companies like that?
There's several. It's not completely unique.
I'm sure they're popping up by the day.
Yeah. There's hold on a second. Let me pull up something that I have. Actually, I think I said the wrong name there for a second, so I want to clarify something because. Oh, okay. No. I made a slight mistake. This is just the gym real quick. That's a different software that I'm talking about. Wayward, I actually got on a call with, I believe it's their founder, Ali. He's got to be one of the more brilliant people I've met in my 16 years being in the space. I was very impressed with the back end of what they had. I would say, I think they were described to me as like a competitor of Levanta. I didn't really see them as competitors. I really like Levanta as well, but Wayward's been making some moves. Like for example, Wayward purchased. What's the woman's name who had the Amazon influencer software, and she came in to present? Right, but what was the name of her software? Fluencer Fruit. Wayward purchased Fluencer Fruit, and the CEO stayed on. She's been making some really, really big acquisitions in the influencer space, and Wayward's looking amazing. I'm getting the word Wayward, because I'm like gym brain right now, confused with another one that Eud has, and I have a 3-hour call with him. There's actually a really good chance that we'll be doing some cool collaborations and sponsorships with Wayward, and I should be hearing from Ali again this week on it. So like, you guys should be ready to hear a lot more about that from Wayward. I had been trying to reach out to them for quite some time, actually, unsuccessfully, and Tim Jordan, who's been a little out of the scenes, Tim and I reconnected, and you know Tim's connected to everyone, and Tim was able to put us together, and we had a great call. I'm really excited for some of the stuff that we might be able to do with Wayward. We're creating which I've mentioned a few times, and I guess I should touch on a little now. Erica, who you guys have met sometimes coming through, she was going to be here today, but she had a personal thing to deal with. We've pretty much 40 hours a week, Erica's role has been move fast and break you-know-what when it comes to TikTok. So a whole bunch of different accounts, trying everything from paid posts to black hat to go personality, review products, mixed mediums, like all the things they say don't do across a lot of different accounts, and was really able to figure out like what's working and what's not working. As a matter of fact, a lot of what we got from that, I applied here and a few other accounts, and they're doing really good. So you guys have heard me talk about Your First Dollar a lot. I still think it's great, still gonna be recommending it, but we decided, myself, Erica, to build a competitor to Your First Dollar. So overnight,
Say it again?
we're calling it, as of right now, the working title is Creator Blueprint.
Yeah, I like that. That's
Yeah,
good.
and the reason is Your First Dollar is completely TikTok related. I haven't talked about it in a while because it was a period of time that all I did was talk about it and I was too ahead. I was too early on it, but I know a lot about live streaming. Like I've done a lot of live streaming. I've sold a lot of product doing live streams.
Live streams on where?
Amazon Live.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that used to be like a pretty heavy part of
Did they take that away?
no, it's still there. A pretty heavy part of my brand. I'm very comfortable with live streaming. We have the Amazon Influencer Program course that kind of sits on an island. It hasn't been updated in a bit, but Creator Blueprint is going to be where I'm going to be. We're going to be able to teach how to live stream and do social selling live. TikTok, the Amazon Influencer course product is going to be put in. It's all going to live on a Discord server, so where we have a lot of abilities to like teach some cool stuff, bring in trainings, have brands, and this is the part that I know is not going to be overnight, and Your First Dollar is going to, they're going to have a pretty serious edge on us in the beginning. Is obviously I'm going to be very aggressive about bringing brands in so that these brands can do brand deals with our creators that are there. So in the beginning, since I'm going to be a little weak on that, it's going to be a lot heavy into the training of like upgrading your video content creation, getting better at reaching out to brands, and just overall leveling up your content so that when you can make commissions. The trap here for this is it's very easy to get 5 or 6 brand deals to pay, get them to pay you for you to create videos. The problem is they're all going to want 15 to 30 videos. And if you get 5 brands to get you to want 30 videos each, you're on the hook for 150 videos that month. That is a lot of work, right? But if you can level up, maybe take on 1 brand deal and have a solid plan on how to level up your TikTok account, if we're talking about TikTok, your TikTok account like I'm doing here, and get to that 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 follower range, you can make money off commissions, and it's a lot more than what you can off brand deals for a fraction of the work. So I plan on trying to do some really cool stuff with Wayward for our Creator Blueprint. As of right now, we just set a tentative launch date of 3rd week of August. We'll open it up to maybe, I don't know, 15 to 25 people. But as of right now, but I would say even if we don't make that launch date, you guys should hear about it and be able to mess around with it end of August, early September. Yeah, I'm gonna, between that and the accelerator, I'm gonna give those a lot of love so that we can all make money, whether it's from the creator side, whether it's our brand side, so we have something to launch. And I just, again, yes, I hope it makes business sense for me on my business side, but in reality, it's just so that we can all level up. I really think if you're selling a Me Too product and you're 100% reliant on Amazon PPC, you're not gonna make any money in about 18 months, and I want everybody here to make a lot of money, so I think we gotta do some stuff. So this is me trying to do those things. So the question, tips for communicating with Wayward and working with Wayward. I'm gonna pass on that and say if you ask me in a week, if you ask me that question next Saturday, I'm gonna be able to give you firsthand experience of me working with it, because I'm gonna work with them a bunch. I'm also gonna have some really cool insights from Ali this week. And I don't wanna just repeat some stuff that you can read off the site, but I think it's great. It's pretty self-explanatory too. Just go in there and say what you're looking for, and the AI is pretty wicked in getting you what you want. So yeah, I rambled. What else you got?
Carlos, would you please repeat the website you mentioned earlier that helped you generating the ideas?
To help me generate ideas? No, I don't have one. That's this.
Creator Connect?
I copied on the Salmon, but I didn't actually start.
One was Quick AI and then the other one was
Store fees.
Sort feed.
Okay.
SORTFEED. There's several out there that do it. Yeah.
What is that? And then click AI?
No, I think if you just put sort feed Chrome extension, you should get it. But that one's going to be specific to Instagram. Because the thing is, if it's on YouTube, it's very easy to connect a whole bazillion different types of AIs to it. This is why, like when you're doing content creation, if you're trying to model something that works, one of the biggest time-consuming parts is identifying the hook, the packaging, the scripting of what you're going to say, especially if you're recording video. This shortens that and almost eliminates it. So it'll take you from max output of maybe 20 videos a month to 80 to 100 videos a month. That's all that part of it does. The rest of it lives in my brain. And actually, sort feed was discovered by Moises. But when he discovered it, I think at first I kind of brushed it off because I'm like, yeah, that's great. Now I have a list of things. What am I going to do? Hire a VA to sit there and hit play, write down pause, play, pause, and write down these scripts and then send them to me. It's kind of like, but then I discovered Clip2. What else we got? If there's no other questions from the stream or here, I mean, we did a lot of questions today through the beginner hour and this. We only got like 15 minutes left. We can end it, or? Yep, of course.
As an expert in PPC and advertising, when you launch the new product, the new brand, what's in your opinion a good time to turn on PPC?
Immediately.
Immediately?
Yep. Yeah.
Even if you have 0 reviewers, sales?
Doesn't matter. Anytime you have a question on PPC, remember this: in good times, you should run PPC, and in bad times, you must. There's no exception there. I will say, and I don't know what your budget's going to be, so I'm just going to say that you have a $3,000 a month ad budget, right? If you have a $3,000 a month ad budget, and you're going to launch a product on Amazon, I wouldn't try to spend $3,000 that first month. I would look at like a $1,000 to $1,500 budget, because one of the things you want to do with ads when you first launch the product is you want to see that Amazon's reading your product right. And based on what they're showing,
You run it even before the listing has index?
well, if you created your listing right, it indexes. I mean, it's indexing. You're talking about but what do you mean by indexing? Right.
Like if it gets like this,
No, you run it. Like at a minimum, I mean, say I think you're reading a lot of information on PPC, and what I would do is I would pick like 1 or 2 people on PPC and eliminate everything else, so you're going to get really confused because you're saying the right terms, but like I feel like everything you're saying, like for example, you're saying before indexing. What that means to me is that you're probably looking at like a Seller Systems or a Brandon Young or something like that, and you're talking about once you get an actual sale, real or manufactured, on a product, now it should register for that. But that's not technically true. Like if you have your keywords in the listing, you're still like, you're just not, I mean, but you run ads immediately. Where it gets debatable within PPC is there's a really good argument for 2 different sides, and one of them is when you first launch, say you have an auto campaign and a lot of like harvesting campaigns. On the other side says, no, only run exact match specific keywords campaigns and eliminate all your autos and all your other like discovery campaigns. And I believe it's somewhere in the middle, but it's a solid argument on the second side, because if you were to create a really short title and only go off after very, very few keywords to launch, and your ads only went after an exact match for those specific keywords, that would be the best way to communicate with the Amazon algorithm that this is what your product is about. And that's kind of what you're trying to do. And then once you rank really good for that, you can start seeding more keywords into your listing. But I just don't think it's necessary. Out of curiosity, who are the people you're consuming content on for PPC?
Oh, different. Like I also participated in, there is like Russian community, like Russian speaking community.
Yeah.
Like Amazon community.
It's about Dima.
Dima Kurban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good friend.
Just participated in his meetup in
Yeah.
Hollywood
Yeah.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's in California.
He just got food poisoning.
Yeah.
Bad.
California.
Yeah.
So yeah.
His wife stepped up.
Yeah. And also there is Artyom, I don't remember, Korshun. And he has a like training.
Oh, cool. Yeah, just
But then I read a lot, Facebook groups, like just regular social.
one of the questions you want to answer like fairly quickly when it comes to ads is, do you love, like, is that the thing that you like get super excited about and you love doing? Like advertise, like ads, paid ads on Amazon. Like, it is an exciting day for you spending half the day on spreadsheets and,
Not really.
right, so I would, my advice is, as you consider how much resources you're going to put into learning it, keep that in mind. You're not going to be the person that winds up doing this for your company. Unless you're like this data scientist that gets out, I mean, you just get excited getting out of bed to go look at this stuff, which I know some of those people. Ramon is one of those people that's in our group. Like, he loves that, and he's great at it. But unless you're that, you really just want to know enough to communicate with the person that's going to be doing that.
This project I want to learn to sell it for sure.
Okay. It's your business, no wrong answers. It's just my 2 cents.
Skate Tutors has another question here. Tips on content for the Flip app. Any tips on content?
No, I have been following the Flip app a lot though, but it doesn't seem like there's anything different than TikTok when it comes to content creation. But I've not peeled that back enough. Yeah.
And I got another follow-up kind of with the staying focused on your business there. Is it good to, do you emphasize more consistency, or do you like in daily, like just operations, or do you have sometimes where you just you're like, I want to focus on this and push everything aside for a moment while I focus on something that needs attention in my business? Or is consistency more of a priority than focus on something that needs movement in your businesses?
I'm not sure I understand. I'm trying to reword it. You're using the word consistency, and I'm not sure it's the right word. Are you saying, should you work on everything a little bit and keep advancing it, or ignore everything to the exclusion of the one thing you're working on and just go all in on that one thing and then move on to the next?
Well, yeah.
I think it depends on like what you're responsible for, like in your business. Rarely are business owners in the position where there's only one thing that they can focus on. Like, what if you had shipping something into like, imagine you woke up one day and there was a problem with your inbound shipment to FBA. Your ads are overspending, and you're not clear why. Payrolls do, but your QuickBooks is giving you issues. And I don't know, Ting's sick, and you got to go pick up the baby early from school.
This is actually a type of scenario.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So you're going to pick one? Which one are you picking? Right. So like, there's just so many things like that. Now right. So like most business owners don't get in this position where they, and you got a ticket, so you got to deal with the ticket clinic too, and like, you waited until the last second. You know what I mean? Like, you can get crazy. So like, Most people don't have the luxury of just doing one thing. I would think if you could get to this position where you're just responsible for one thing, that would probably be the most effective, but in reality, it doesn't really jive in reality. So what I do, what I was explaining earlier, is I have my priority list. So I have my journal. My business journal lets me know what are the 3 most important things I have to do today. There's 50 I need to do today, but what are the 3 most important of those 50, right? So that might be my 80-20. I write those 3 down. If I get those 3 done, like, it's good, right? That can change. Like, your driver's license, out of all those things, those are super important, but if this ticket's not resolved, they're going to suspend your license, right? Ticket needs to be up there. You kind of need your license. You know what I mean? Like, so you got to pick the most important things that you got to do. And in reality, if you did that every day, and that means you knocked out 21 things that week were the most important thing. That's a solid week, right? But if you got to be okay with, resolving it and not letting everything burn while that's happening. So you can't neglect everything else while you just work on one thing. Yeah.
What's that journal called? Not diary, journal.
Yes, journal. High Performance Planner.
And what is that, like an app you have?
No, it's written. I can't get into digital journals.
So this is just like a site? Do you subscribe to it?
I buy the books. As a matter of fact, afterwards, if you wanted to see, I can pull one of them out.
High
Yeah.
performance journal.
High Performance Planner, is this what it's called? By Brendan Brouchard, Brouchard.
So what, he just comes out with like every year?
No, you can buy them. They're like 6 different colors, and they're all the same. And you just open it, and when you open it to a page, it's a day, and you just write the date wherever you want to start, wherever you're at. You write it, and then the same prompts are for every single page. So Monday, there's the first half of the day that you write. The middle columns are your calendar. I use my digital calendar, so I usually just write GCal because I use my digital calendar. And then the back half is more of like an evaluation of the day. And then you have 5 quick things, 1 through 5, that you rate yourself on how you felt you did that day.
So you do this morning and night?
Morning and night.
For how long have you been doing it?
Years.
Really?
Yeah. Journaling, I've been doing journaling a decade. High Performance Planner since COVID.
Do you ever like skip days?
If I'm traveling and I didn't bring it,
Well,
if I'm,
Sundays.
no, I don't every day. No, every day,
Even if you're completely off on Sunday?
especially because if I'm not at work, I'm at family time, and one of my biggest struggles is trying to be like good dad, husband, but also not feel like I'm neglecting everyone that's kind of relying on me in the business and the community and all that there. So it's very difficult for me to switch gears. So I especially need to center like for that on a Sunday. It's most important for me on the off days. So yeah, no, I don't miss. And you will notice if you do it, you will notice you will not be as good on the day you don't. Yeah. Yeah. 8 minutes, guys. Waiting for the big questions from Bruce. No. I know. Anybody got anything else?
I have after.
Okay. No more? Okay. All right. Let me see. Bit of news to share from this week. I don't know if you guys have been following along, but we have pre-Vine now. You should start seeing pre-Vine in your Amazon account. So pre-launch Vine.
Really?
Yep. Big one. Everyone should be seeing it in their account, I'd say by the end of the month, which is going to be pretty big. So when you're talking about a product launch, and usually your question comes around with ads in the beginning, even if it has no reviews. So now you know that you're going to launch, but you're going to be able to seed Vine with the products you want to get reviewed, get those reviews in before launching. So now, what? That's the new thing that everyone says is going to be the hack. Yeah.
How does that work? I'm gonna launch a product, but it's not in Amazon inventory yet. I'll get the reviews.
You're going to be able to send those products in to get reviewed before the launching of the product.
For your main shipment?
Right. Yeah.
So basically, before you turn on ads and waste.
Before you turn on anything. Yeah.
You get reviews beforehand.
Yeah.
Save money.
So pre-launch Vine review. It's kind of like what they were doing with that ad program they killed away that lets you submit and possibly get 5 reviews. You know what I mean? But
What if, Carlos, what if my listing isn't done? Can I still send it in?
you still can send it in. Yeah.
So should I send the box in first or just?
We got to see if your account has it, has access to it.
Look, it's all right, I have it open.
Yeah. Yeah, I can look. But that's one everybody should be taking a look at. More and more.
Will be the same rules where Amazon will allow same number of reviews from the same geographical area.
Oh, well, it's Vine, so they do.
Same rules as regular Vine.
Right. No, but it's still Vine. It's not. It's regular Vine.
Right, but it's pre-launch.
Yeah. So I think Amazon does a pretty good job. Like a lot of the time, say if Tom has a product, I won't see it on my Vine, and it's suspected that because we're geographically close, they do that. Sometimes you do, but most of the times you won't. So I think they have a way of doing that on their end. But that's a pretty big piece of news. Another one that I've been talking about for a while. That's
Would you recommend it?
yeah, I'd recommend it. Yeah.
Think about Bruce, you're getting reviews before you're wasting PPC ad spend. So if I saw your or it may cost you more ad spend, give me as a customer. But if you had 30 reviews already up and running, and then you run ads, your conversion rate's gonna go higher. I think I sent you a stat. I think it said 15 reviews on Amazon.
The gist of that was right. I would have said it was even your first 5 reviews, I'd say gives you like a 15% burst, not the first 15. But yeah, but it
How long would that take
what?
to get, say, 15?
Organic, no Vine?
No, with Vine.
Oh.
I'm talking about the pre-Vine.
Some days. Yeah, it depends on the product. I'd say the rule is the more easy it is to fence and flip from the Vine side, or the more lucrative it is, the quicker they go. But
Bruce, here it is. Going from 1 to 15 reviews doubles your conversion rate.
Wow.
Going from 3 stars to 4 stars gives you a 25% lift on conversion rate. Going from 4 to 4, can't tell you. From 4 to 4 stars grants a 7% boost, and going from 4 to 4.5 stars results in a 14% improvement. Those 15 reviews are so critical.
It's significant.
to your conversion rate. I got it from DataLock.
yeah,
That's good, that's a good information. ChatGPT and e-commerce. That's like a lot of people not paying attention. It's
You want to tell the story with Ricky over the weekend on Friday?
oh, you tell it. You're the one that gave him the connection. But
There's a way that you can
that ties into what I'm saying now here. Like, listen to this.
list your product on ChatGPT, but you have to give it some.
Okay. Thank you.
Ricky did it last Friday. And over the weekend, he got an order. We looked at what the order was. It was for 30 items, one person. And it was free, so, ChatGPT.
Wow, but this is all Amazon.
On the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's really, I mean, think about it, if you can get into this sooner, like imagine you can put your product listed on Google sooner before anybody else who had wine glasses. You'd kill it.
Yeah.
So you're first to market with ChatGPT now, so getting your stuff, what's the word, indexed?
Yeah, it's indexed.
Word indexed in ChatGPT so that they can find your product. That's gonna be the best search engine out there from now on.
Yeah, well, wait, this is probably a stupid question, but I don't know. When you have a Shopify, if it's not being held in the Amazon warehouse, where's it being held?
A lot of people on Shopify will have it in an FBA warehouse or an AWD warehouse.
But
Oh.
you're paying the fees, right?
Well, anywhere you have it, you're going to pay a fee, your warehouse or wherever. But there's a lot of 3PLs too that people will work with that are non-Amazon warehouses that you could use.
Like, where's yours?
Well, I was letting you guys know that more and more of these like native e-com products are showing up in ChatGPT now for search, something that ChatGPT and Shopify have been working on. You're going to see, I think it's going to be an amazing Q4 in that regard. Also, if you've noticed, ChatGPT is very aggressively pushing their browser. I don't know if you've seen it. Have you guys messed around with it? Just like, sometimes if you get on your, depending on your computer, it's trying to give you Safari or Chrome. There's an entire browser that's ChatGPT now. This week they've been pretty aggressively pushing it. So
What do you mean, like?
the whole browser, like instead of Chrome, you have a ChatGPT browser. Yeah, I thought it was horrible, but then again, I love Chrome as a browser, so it would take a lot to get me to leave.
Like in the app, ChatGPT?
No, you'd be out of the app, like if you're in your browser. Yeah.
Ads will be coming soon on chat.
Yeah. So don't ignore it. From what I heard from these talks that I was in with a few of us with ChatGPT and Shopify, if you're using Shopify, it's pretty much just going to be a tick when you add your product in the catalog, and it's automatically going to be indexed. But that's not happening right now. So I think it's a good idea to just make sure your products are indexing, your off Amazon products are indexing on ChatGPT currently. So it should be some easy sales for you to get, especially in the right season for you. I doubt your competitors are going to be doing that, and people search for it a lot. So
our Shopify stores are going to index on ChatGPT?
well, people search for things about your product. Not the brand name, but about it, how to do it, recipes for, blah, 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 all these different things. How many of your competitors are indexed for that? ChatGPT knows these people want to see X, and they're going to say, well, and they're just going to connect you to your product. Yeah. 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 It's I think it's going to be very disruptive. Using it and seeing it in use, I was like, no one's going to do this. It looks really good. Yeah, it looks slick. Like you'd want to use it.
Yeah, I like that. I like the essence of that. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, no, those two things were. Oh, one other one that I have is DSP. We're running a lot more DSP ads. So you have sponsored product ads on Amazon, and DSP is like the media buying called demand side platform. Our DSP ads have been doing great, like getting better and better, and the profit margins have been a lot better, especially on mid to lower funnel stuff. So like retargeting, you can retarget on Amazon with sponsored products, but the DSP retargeting is a lot better, and you can do a lot more retargeting specific for subscribe and save and stuff like that. So DSP has been great. Anybody that's messing around with DSP, I highly recommend maybe pulling off your top of funnel and looking at more of your mid and lower funnel keywords for your ads. And those are the three things I had. The new pushes by ChatGPT with AI and products, stay on that. The DSP ads and pre-Vine launches, just like 3 takeaways you can take from today. All right?
Your DSP has video or stills?
I'm not doing any videos yet. I do DSP videos, but like for this purpose of this right here for mid and lower tier, I just spend stills. Yeah. So you guys ready? We're gonna do a happy birthday song. You ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tomas. Happy birthday to you. Who said that? Yeah. Yeah. You should have heard somebody asked him one time about what it was like in the Korean War. It's Michael Bond. Lewis. Wow, that brought back some memories. Lewis asked him what it was like in the Korean War.
Well, we love you so much when he's 1.5 years old. We took him to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
I've heard this story. We've had some Ethiopian taxi drivers as we've been traveling, and I've heard it.
We love you that much.
Yeah.
You saw it 22 years later.
That's where he got that accent from. All right, everybody. Thank you.